Hello. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. And hello to the Business Plugs Mixer. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. And so I had a guest, and once again, I don't know. I think I'm scheduling too far out and people are forgetting that they're on schedule. I don't know what that is, but my guest couldn't make it. And so the show must go on, right? So tonight, I want to talk to you about grants. And the reason I want to talk to you about grants because last night I hosted 20 businesses from around the country and Canada on how to write grants. So in that master class, I showed them how to write grants, like what do they need to do to prepare to receive grants, right? Because there are some prerequisites you need to know if you're going after grant funding. So we talked about that in depth. And then we talked about who has grants. Like I showed them to where to go to look for grant money because there's so many places out there, right? And then the third thing I showed them was what to say when you're applying for grants. Like there's very specific language you need to use when you're applying for grants. And so we went through the whole thing last night. And because my guest is not available today, I thought, well, while I'm doing that, let me do a service to the other people who follow me. Let me perform a service to you all. So tonight we're going to be talking. You can hear the raspiness in my voice because the pollen's up and I am feeling it. Like I am still suffering from the effects of having COVID over a year ago. And so anytime the pollen is up, it sticks right here. And so I have this rasp. But if you can pardon that, I hope the information that I'm getting ready to give you is going to be helpful to you in dispelling some of the grant rumors, like the myths. And so there is a paper that I'm actually going to that was written by Evius. Evius wanted to, like me, wanted to dispel the myths that surround grants. And I said in the caption, I said that with 13, there's actually 12. So we're going to go through those 12 things that they've identified and they're on point because I get to hear from people who are interested in grants. I get to hear these questions. And so I'm going to use this video to dispel the grants. And it's grant season, guys. It's the end of the year. And some businesses may have money left over that they need to get rid of. So they're looking for eligible businesses and opportunities that they can fund so that they can clear up their books for the end of the year. And so this is the perfect time to get grants. Like this is the first perfect time to go after. So let's get started. Excuse me. And while I'm at it, if you want a replay of that session, that masterclass I did last night, it is available for hire, right? What I suggest, and I'm not against it at all. I suggest you do a watch party. Like if you and some business friends want to know about grants, I suggest you do a watch party, pay for the access, charge them $5, $10, whatever, to get your money back so that everybody equally pays for it. And then do a watch party. This makes a wonderful video for you to watch among your business buddies. And all of you, I even have the notes. Dr. Sandra, who attended, she made the notes for everything we did last night. So I even have the notes that go along with the video. So if you're interested in that, then I did put the information in the description of this video. And with that being said, it's time to get started on the 12 myths, right? And I'm reading them from my phone. So the first myth is grants come with no strings attached. Well, let me tell you about the strings that are attached. It would be great if somebody just gave you money and said, go ahead and use it however you want to and do everything you need to do with it and just have fun. Like, right? Like fund your idea, do whatever it is you want to do with it and just go and have fun. But that is not exactly how grants work. Grants come to you very specific. So there are different types of grants, of course. So you have grants that are for research, clinical grants. You have grants that are for operations, and they'll tell you, this is for operations. You even have like seed money, which grants to help you start your business. And then you have grants that are unrestricted. So the ones who tell you specifically what to do with it, those are called restricted grants, right? And they can cover anything. They can tell you this is to hire staff, this is to expand your business, this is to buy equipment. Like they can tell you very specifically what they want you to do with the grant money. But then you have unrestricted grants, and that's the one everybody thinks is out here. Like I get all the questions about the unrestricted grants. So the unrestricted grants is where they really don't care how you spend it, as long as you spend it on something for your business, right? So they don't want you they don't want you to take a vacation with it. It's not that. But anything that supports your business, they're fine with you doing it. They have no limitations on how you spend the money in your business, right? Because first of all, they have to prove you have to prove that your business is grant worthy. And once you do that, then they have no problem with how you spend your grant money. So that's the first one. So yeah, it comes with you have to show that you have done what they said, that the money did go. Like they can go back and audit you later and say, where did you spend the money? And you have to be able to tell them, oh, and show receipts, right? Receipts are the name of the game. If you're a small business, those receipts are gold. So you have to be able to show receipts where you spent the money. That's what got a lot of people in trouble with that PPP stuff, right? Because they could not show where they spent the money. They are or where they could show it was on vacation. That is not what business funding is about. Business funding is not vacation funding. So don't do that. Don't think of doing that. Don't do that. That's a no. Number two, there's no money available. So you have businesses that have taken on, like corporations and government, the federal government, the number one buyer of services in the world, and corporations who earnestly want to support small businesses. And so when people say there's no grant money available, that you have to be this, that, or the other to get grant money, or there's no money, whatever that is, that's not true. There is money available. However, that money is highly competitive. So, like when you think about going after government grants, just understand that is you and the other 50 states and all the other different entities that the United States own are all going for that same money. So, anytime you do government grants, unless they limit it to your state or your city or something, just know that it is highly competitive. And so that's why you must make your best showing, put your best ducks in a row. So that is the spell that as long as you're considered eligible for funding, that you're in the game with some very top players. The number three is anyone can win a grant. Just fill out the application and you'll get a grant. And that is so funny because that's how most people think it works. They're like, if I fill this application out, I'm going to get grant money. And again, it is highly competitive. And so you must put your best face forward. That means you must show up and show them why you deserve it over all the other candidates who are trying to get that same money. And again, the video that we did last night, I very succinctly told them what to do and how to do it so that when they know what to say, because it's very specific language you need to use. And number four is grant writing and grants management is a solo sport. It is not. It is not. Ideally, if you're going after grant funding, you have a team, right? You have a team because there are specific parts of the grant that you're going to need some expertise advice, like how you're going to market it, the best way to market it, and I mean, how you're going to market your business or your program or your project. And then also the accounting piece, you need an itemized budget. And if you're not good with numbers, like a lot of my business owners aren't, they're not good with understanding the numbers, then you need to have someone who can help you on your team. And so it is not a solo sport. It is, if you're not everywhere that you can't do, like if you're not a good writer, then you don't want to write the grant. You want to find somebody to write it for you. Like it is imperative that it be properly written and properly documented. And so those two things are highly important. And if that's not your wheelhouse, then you're going to have to outsource it to somebody that is. Number 5, the government has free grants. Oh my goodness. I get so many businesses that say, Linda, do the government have grants to start my business? No. No, no, that is so. So you remember there was this man, and he had question marks all on his green suit, like the Riddler, right? Like in Batman, the Riddler, and I'm showing my age, but like the Batman, the Riddler, he had question marks all over his suit, and he would run around and say, "I got it, I got it, I know it, I know it," trying to get people to buy this book because he knew, according to him, he knew where all the grant monies were, where all the federal dollars were that would help people start businesses and do this, that, and the other. Okay. I don't know anyone who got rich off of that commercial, but him. I don't know anyone who actually bought that book and became rich and famous for purchase. I don't know anyone. And so there is not any government programs out there that will pay you to start a business. That's the question that I get all the time. And I have to tell them, no, there's not. However, let me correct that. However, or let me give you the other part of that. Not correct it, but let me give you the other part. The other part of that is this. If you're already going to start a business, you go ahead and start the business that you have in mind, and you do as well of a job as you can. And you can look and see if there are any government grants out there that would fit your business model. Like a lot of people think, well, I'll just make my business model match the grant. That is not what you want to do. What you want to do is you need to create your own business model and then look to see if there are any grants out there to support your business model. Like you have to do it the opposite way is putting the cart before the horse. So go ahead and build your business model and then look to see if there are any government grants out there to support you. Now, if you are a veteran, disabled, woman, minority, right? Those are check boxes that the government used to do set asides and put people in the front of the line. And if you fit in one or all of those boxes, it could very well put you in the front of the line, but you still must start your own business. Like if they were paying for people to start businesses, boy, wouldn't we all be great? We would all be great, but that's just not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay, start your business and then see if there are any grants out there. Number 6 is my organization can quickly pull together this application. Most people, so there are various applications. Like you have some applications just want your name and your EIN and answer questions. They do these grants are just wanting preliminary information. I can tell you when it was like that. I won the Facebook grants. In fact, I won the Facebook money and the Facebook ads grants. I won both of them. And when they started the process, it was very simplistic. They said, what's the name of your business? What's the address of your business? What's your EIN number? Very simple. And what do you do? Right? And then you have to tell them, if you won the money, what would you do with it? So that's very simple. And you could probably do that off the cuff, at the top of your head, right? What I do is I teach business owners to create a folder, an online electronic folder. And in that folder, put all the things that grantors ask for, because it is the grantor who decides what questions they're asking. And it's not like you have one blanket, it's the same this way, it's that way, it's not. And so for the Facebook grant that I won, I had to do tax returns, right? So you need tax returns for the last 2 years. You needed to show your mission statement that your business is doing, the population, I had my ethnicity because it was specifically for Black businesses. And so there are things they will ask you, but if you put all that information in a folder, then it becomes more of a cut and paste, a copy and paste. as opposed to having to start from scratch. Now, there may be times they ask you something that you don't have in the folder, but that's minimal. For the maximum time, for the most times, if you create that folder, you'll have exactly what you need. And it's just going into that folder, grabbing the documents or grabbing whatever is needed. And in this video that I'm talking about, I actually told them exactly some of the things they need to put in that folder. So yeah, so creating that folder is a good idea and has worked for my clients. They're like, yeah, we got that folder, Miss Linda, and we are ready for whatever grants that come out. Again, some of them are very simplistic and they just want your name and your business and business name and what you do, and very simplistic. But then just think about it. The bigger the money, the more information. So, when you're talking about 25,000, 50,000, like those grants, they want information. And if you have this folder, you can go to that folder and pull it, or you can, you do it one time, save it so that you're not repeatedly doing it. But understanding the process is the major thing. Understanding the language, what they're wanting, when they want it, is the major thing. So yeah, so that was number 6. Don't think you can pull all of them together like that, because if they're giving you like $1,000 or $500, those may be quick, easy applications. But when you're talking about getting 10, 15, 20, $50,000, they're going to want a lot of information. And do not think you can do it like in quick turnaround. Like if you see a deadline, try to stop a week before that deadline, just in case you forgot to add something, and then get another set of eyes to look at it. So yeah, so the myth is that you can do it quickly. Not all the time. It depends on the grantor, how much information they want. And some of them want a lot of information, especially if you're going for some of those high dollar grants. So number 7 is grant management begins after the grant award notice is signed. If that's what you're doing, then you're already too late. Like if you think, okay, I won't decide what I'm going to do with the grant until I get it. Well, guess what? That's not that's not how it works. You have to tell them explicitly what you're going to do with that money. Like you have to have a budget and a budget narrative. Those are part of a grant application. So if you're going to do, even if it's just your business, you still have to tell them what your expenses are. Like, how do you spend your money? How do you plan to spend the money if you get the grant? Again, you have to be very explicit. So it's not like I'll wait till I get the money, then I'll decide how I'm gonna spend it. No, that's not, nobody's funding dreams like that. You have to tell them verbatim what you're going to do with the money once you receive it. And the more money it is, the more deeper you have to go into your budget details. Number 8, if rejected, you should just move on to the next funder. A lot of times people get rejected. Hey, D. Hey, darling. Yes, ma'am, I do. And that's what I'm talking about. So, D, last night, I actually did a masterclass for 20 businesses throughout the United States and in Canada. Like they were from Arizona. We had Florida in the house. We had Maryland in the house, DC, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. Like we had a bunch of different states in the house, and they learned how to apply for that first grant. And so that's what the masterclass was last night. In this description, you can actually get the replay, and it received 5 stars. By the way, if you go check google.com, you'll see that the people talked about it. Wasn't for me to sell. It was I did a free grant class actually last night because I wanted to give back for the year. This time last year when I was fighting COVID and fighting for my life, a lot of people were very generous to me. And so this was my give back. And so last night we did a grant masterclass. And so anybody could have signed up. I had like 70 something people sign up, but 20 people actually showed up. And so for the 20 who showed up, they were like, oh man, we should have paid for this. So yeah, yes, the replay is available. It is available. It is for $50 though. So it's not the replay you have to pay for. The actual live class was free. But the thing about it, D, is one of the participants made notes of every slide and did notes of the whole thing. So you get the video and the slides, and I'm going to throw in a template of the fiscal sponsorship, because we talked about fiscal sponsorships too. I'm going to throw in a template of a fiscal sponsorship, and in the video it tells you how to use it. So I'll do that. But yeah, but if you're interested, just let me know. And in the details of this video, it will tell you how to get the replay. So if rejected, you need to contact the grantor, the grant officer is what they're called. Contact the grant officer and ask questions, like ask what could you have done better, or what should you have added, or ask for their suggestions. Two things that's going to do. One, it puts your name in the memory of the grant funder, right? Because grants are all about relationships, right? People give money to people they know. Like if they are assured that, oh yeah, this is a valid person that has good ideas, that's doing good work, like who wouldn't give that person the grant, as opposed to this person, I have no clue whether they're right or wrong or what they're doing, right? Building relationships, grants are all about relationships, building relationships with the grant officer. So if you're rejected, that's your opportunity to have a conversation, to get on the grant officer's calendar, have them to look at your proposal and see if they can give you pointers on things you could do to make your proposal stronger. So don't just walk away from a denial, right? Don't just walk away from a denial and say, oh, well, I didn't get it, so what? And don't be one of those people who've only applied for one grant and think they should, because they didn't get it. Oh, grants don't work because I applied for it, didn't get it. Don't be that person either. You don't want to be that person. So get the information. So we won. So next year is in the bag. Okay, that is not how it worked, right? Just because you won one year does not mean you automatically get it the next year. And so in the next year, it may go to somebody else. So just because you won, like I won the Comcast grant, I won the Bank of America grant, which included my tuition at Cornell University. So the grants that I've won, I don't think I'm going to get them again. I mean, I would apply for them, sure. But I don't look because I won it last year means I'll get it again this year. I don't think that. And so you shouldn't either. Like each time you apply, it is an individual process. So you could very well win it again. That'd be great if you're a two-time winner. But chances are, with all the competition out there, chances are they want to spread the wealth around. So you don't automatically get it because you won it one year. If you won it that first year, congratulations, and go on to something else is what my recommendation would be. You can try for it, but chances are you probably won't get it the second year. Number 10. So let me go back and remind you what we've been through so far. So for the number one grant myth was grants come without strings, and I told you no, that's not true. Number two, the myth is there's no money available. There's always money available, right? People ask because, okay, think about it. When you started your business, it's probably on a different date than I started mine. And so there's businesses starting every month of the year. And a lot of people who are grantors use their begin dates as their grant period, like their anniversary dates as their grant periods. And just think there's a business starting every month. So every month somebody's giving away money to somebody somewhere. So you just have to find the grant periods, the grant cycles for those people who fit your mission, your business, or whatever you're doing. You have to find out what the grant cycles are. So the myth that there's no money available, and we squash that. There is money available. Number 3, anyone can win a grant. Just fill out the application you get, and you get the grant. That is the opposite. They said in this thing, it says this is the optimistic opposite. This is the optimistic opposite of myth 2. Many grant funding opportunities are highly competitive. And if you think it's just a given, it's not a given. You have to take it serious. Like you have to really, really show the highlights of you and your business, why you should get the grant over everybody else, right? again, I won grants, won the Facebook, both of those, won Comcast Rise, and got to work with Eureka, won another grant. I can't remember the name of that company, but and I'm so sorry. Won another grant, and then also won the Bank of America grant where they're helping women get certified in women entrepreneurship. So I did finish that. But you have to think about, there's so many grant opportunities, and I gave them a list of places to look. One of them that comes to mind is like the Amber Grant, where they give like $10,000 to $25,000 out every month, and they do it based on what industry you're in. So that right there is a great tip if you're looking to apply, places to apply. In the video, I actually show you where to apply in your state, where to go look for your state, and in your city. Because if you're in the state of Tennessee, or if you're in the state of Alabama, Maryland, or wherever, you have access. You're registered with the state, so you get to apply for all that money. Some people just lock it into just their, whatever city they're in, and not realizing that you can apply for, go get it all. Apply for it all. So yeah, so number 4 was grant writing, and grants management is a solo sport. I told you, no, it is not. You need a team, because you need to understand how to have a strong showing on your grant application. And so therefore you need to pull in some experts. Tip: you can get a free consultation with an attorney and with a CPA at your local small business development center. Did you know that? So that was one of the tips I gave them last night too. You can go to SBA, that's Small Business Administration.gov, SBA.gov, and find out where the nearest small business development center is to your city, because that's the most underused resource that business owners don't know they have access to, evidently. But it's free. You pay for it when you pay your taxes. Like, they are in existence to help you build your business, right? And don't get caught up if you're a nonprofit, because people say, oh, I'm a nonprofit, they don't serve us. They do. Business is business. There's a level of business that everybody can use, regardless of whether you're a nonprofit or for-profit. Tell them you would like to consult them on the business part of your nonprofit. You can go to your other nonprofit center or United Way or whoever handles nonprofits to get the nonprofit portion, but you still want to be considered for the business part of your business. Okay? Just a little tip for you. And number 5, the government has free grants. Lord, I get to hear that so much. So this is the sort of myth perpetuated by the likes of the question mark guy. I brought him up to you. The question mark guy with those old TV ads. Unfortunately, people still buy it. People still think there are government programs out there just handing money out left and right. And that is not true. That is not true. That is not true. There are grant programs out there, but you have to start your business and do all the front work before you can apply for them. And they are highly competitive, because you're going against all the different states and the people and the businesses out there. Like, those government grants are highly competitive. And so you need to have a strong showing if you're going to go for them. Number 6, my organization can quickly pull together this application. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yes, there are some that are really quick that answer, and they're probably for $500, $1,000, something like that. They could be really quick, and you could probably answer them in 10, 15 minutes. But then there are those that, like, think the bigger the money, right? The more questions they want, the more information they want. So you have to make sure that, like I was saying, create a grant envelope, a grant folder, and put all the information that you think they're going to ask in that folder. So that way you can actually respond quickly without having to start from scratch every single time, right? I teach grant packets. Create a folder, create a packet that you can refer to. And in that video from last night, I actually showed the ladies what information needs to go in it. Number 7 brings us up to number 7. Number 7 is grant management begins after the grant notice is signed. And no, it does not. You need to have a budget. You need to know how you're going to spend that money, and you need to share that with the grantor. So you can't wait and say, well, I'll decide how I'll spend it afterward. No, ma'am. You have to have, no ma'am, no sir. You need to tell them up front how you're going to spend that money. Number eight, if rejected, you should just move on to the next funder. No, you want to go back, and that's your opportunity to build a relationship with that grant officer. So you want to get on their calendar and ask them, please look at my submission and tell me how can I make it stronger for next time or for other opportunities. Like, you want to have that conversation. So don't look at a rejection as, oh no, that's the worst thing. No, that's your opportunity to get to know the grant officer and have the grant officer to get to know you. So get on their calendar and ask them to look at your submission and give you suggestions on how you can make it better. Yeah. We don't lose, right? We just win and win. Number nine, we won. So next year's in the bag, and that is a big no. Just because you won it one year does not guarantee you for the next year or the next time. So you want to make sure that you're doing a great showing up for you and your business every single time on every single submission, because they are mutually exclusive. That means they are, just because you won one does not automatically mean you're going to win the next one. And so you want to do a good job on all of them that you are applying for. Now, we're moving on to number 10. Number 10, the grant alone will keep us afloat. I cannot tell you how many businesses think, if I get me a $100,000 grant, that'll do me. Okay, first of all, you're going to have to show, like, the bigger the grant, you're going to have to show what happens when the grant money runs out. Like, you need to have a sustainability plan, and your sustainability plan needs to say how you're going to make money once the grant money is spent. Like, you have to have a product or service that you're selling that will support you when the grant money is gone. Nobody's funding anybody's dreams out here. Like, nobody wants to be the solo responsible person for your dreams. That's just not how it works. And so therefore, if you are trying to get big dollar grant money, you need to show them how you have already invested and made that kind of commitment yourself. I cannot believe how many people want $100,000, but they've only spent $100 in their business. Like, what? No, nobody's doing that. So if you want to get the big numbers, you're going to have to invest the big numbers. They want to see that you have skin in the game. Who wants to give grants to somebody who hasn't believed in their own business? Like, nobody's doing that. So don't do that. No. That's not you. And so that's number 10. Number 11, it's hard to find previously funded applications. It's not. You can go to the website of some of these businesses, and I showed them how to go to the websites. You can go to the websites of some of these businesses who are giving away grant dollars, and they'll actually show you who they've already funded. And you want to do that anyway, because going to their website shows you what type of business they put money behind. And it also allows you to be a partner. Like, what if you could collaborate with those businesses who already have grant dollars? Like, what could you do to increase their capacity, right? And we talked about that last night about collaborations. Like, the more you can collaborate with like-minded business owners and create a network. I have Sarita. Sarita was on this show, and Sarita talked about she's going after some Walmart business, and she has to have I think it's 50 trucks or something. And she's talked about how she's building her network of independent truck owners so that collaboratively they can go after Walmart dollars. Like, you have to think about more than just being a rogue. It's just me. I'm out here for myself. I want my name on the line. That's not how you're going to think about this. You're going to think about collaborations, because collaborations are key. That's the good strategy. And so that's number 11. And the final one, municipalities can't go after grants for nonprofits. And that's not true. They can pursue grants for nonprofit organizations if the municipality has created a separate 501c3 foundation. I don't care where you are in the United States. If you are near a major city, they have what's called community foundations. And those community foundations, if you've applied for nonprofit status and it hasn't come through yet, they will allow you to use their nonprofits status to get your project done, your service done. Like it depends on they purposely set aside X number of dollars to do that. And so if you are near a major city, it's worth looking at the nearest community foundation. In the video, I showed the participants exactly how to find those people, right? We talked about it. I let them screenshot so they have a list that they're going to work for and pursue for grant money. But that's what I did last night. And so there are the 12 myths about the 12 myths about grants that people say all the time, like that little guy with the question mark suit, like looking like the Riddler. He really people. A lot of people saw him. his marketing plan was on point because he hasn't sold that book in forever, and people still think that there's free grant money out here that you don't have to work for or do anything for. That people are just giving away, and that's not how it is. People are funding those opportunities that help to make lives better for other people. And so don't think about it as me. You know, how can I get this grant money and go on vacation? And Lord, that whole PPP thing was terrible. But what it is if you have a project or a program that will make your community better? And even if you are a for-profit, you can actually go under the umbrella of a nonprofit. And in the video, we talk about how to do that. So that's what we're talking about. That's why I came on. My guest didn't make it tonight. And so these times when the guests don't show up, you get to have me. And hopefully I'm giving you value and something that you can use in order to operate your business the right way. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And this evening, I come on to give you 12 myths to debunk 12 myths that people have about grants. Oh, and number 13, since I said 13 in the video, I mean, in the description, I'm going to give you 13. Number 13 is you do not have to be a nonprofit to get grants. Like that's one big myth too. For-profit businesses think they don't qualify. Again, you can go under a nonprofit's umbrella doing a fiscal sponsorship, or there's even grants out here for-profit businesses. Like you can just look for one of those and get them. People are getting grant money in the nonprofit sector and in the for-profit sector. And if your business is legitimate and you've worked hard and you have the paperwork to show that you are who you say you are, you can qualify for grants too. So don't let people think it's just for nonprofits. See there, I said it was 13 myths. And so that was number 13. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And you'll see me here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Business Plugs Mixer. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.